Hi again, it's Sideline Mom here, and as always, I'm trying to lose 52 pounds in 52 weeks on the ketogenic diet. Uh, we are going over week 9 on this diet right now. Not really going to get into anything diet oriented. I am going to mention that I'm doing a 7-day challenge, and that 7-day challenge is basically an ab challenge. And basically, what it is 7 days you can lose 1 to 2 inches in your stomach area, and that's where I have a lot of my issues with. And I've always had what do you call it, always been a little insecure about my stomach, but as I gotten older, had a child, and then gained all this excess weight, I have been really insecure about it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you my measurements right now, and then I'm going to measure myself at the end of next week, and then we'll see if I lost anything at all with this particular method, and I'll go ahead and show you that in just a second. Okay, so this morning is Wednesday the 27th, and I went ahead and measured myself, and I probably should have done it last night, but I was in so much pain. I actually took a fall on Monday night, and what happened was me and my husband were going to pick up a bed frame, and long story short, when we went to pick up the bed frame, we went to go see if the springs actually worked in the bed. So what it is, like one of those, the trundle beds that goes underneath, and I wanted to make sure it actually would rise up and then would fall back down again. Well, the lady was helping us actually get the bed out and whatnot. She was trying to show us that it's going to go up and go down, and it was going to be really easy. So she didn't push on one side, and then she was going to push on the other, and it wasn't that she was trying to hurt me, it's just that it just happened on accident. So with having a whole entire back injury and stuff, it kind of set me back a little bit, but I'm still trying to push through this challenge because, one, if this exercise is going to work for me, and it doesn't seem too strenuous, like there is modifications in this particular workout that you can do to keep up, and I've been doing the modifications, and if it works, then yeah, awesome, I'll spread the news to you guys. But right now, my waist is pretty big. It's 42.5 inches. My hips are actually 54 inches, and then my gut is 50.5 inches. I'm gonna say that I actually have lost 3 inches in my stomach. It's not a big success, but that's one thing I did note to take a measure of when I first started, because my stomach is like a big issue for me. Was my stomach area, and so I've lost a couple inches on that. Not too much, but enough to actually get down like a pant size almost. And speaking of pant sizes, I am actually my pants are getting too big, so they're all baggy, and the next size down for me is 16. And the thing about the 16 is there's like a gap like this much, and that's another reason or incentive for me to actually try and see if I can lose the 1 to 2 inches in my stomach, so maybe I can close those pants. Because if that's the case, then yes, perfect, and then of course I'll have lost that little bit of inches that were driving me to not go below size 18 pants. And for me, that is a victory, because I've been a size 18 for, oh goodness, several years. I had my son, and before I had my son, I was a size 10. And then after I had him, I had the back injury happen at work, and I started putting on weight. I couldn't get out of bed rest because of the back injury, and I couldn't walk because of the back injury. So when I got pregnant with him, I gained so much weight, and I was eating stuff like, because I was pregnant with him, was Ensure and Haagen-Dazs 5, because everything else just literally made me sick. So that's all I could stomach at the time, and it feels like I'm literally having to, I don't know, with all of the chronic pain issues that I currently have, it's like I am trying to find a way to get down to a size 10 again. And that's where I feel most comfortable at. I don't like being really thin, and my body's really just not built that way. Usually what happens when I lose my weight, I'm either muscular or I get fat, and that's it. And I have come to understand my body over the years and realize that that right there, a size 10 is perfect for me. It's not like overweight, and I have good muscle tone at that point. All right, so that's what I'm doing this week. I'm doing a 7-day challenge to challenge myself, to challenge my inches, to challenge my abs and everything else. And hopefully I can do it this week. Like I said, I took a fall on Monday. I'm kind of nervous that I won't be able to fulfill it, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I literally have hair in my mouth right now. I have hair everywhere. And you're probably wondering why my hair looks like it does. And there's a story behind the reason why it's so long and why it is so raggedy. So it was about 3 years ago I went to go get my hair cut. And it was a place in the mall, and I was kind of hesitant to go in, but this guy had talked me into it, and he was one of the hairstylists there. And he was amazing. He cut my hair so well that it bounced and flounced like perfectly every which way. I could move my head this way and it just like would just shift, and it was just like beautiful. It was like, I don't know, princess unicorn hair, and it was like, and it was just, it was so magical. So I went back a month and a half later to get my hair just touched up because my hair was getting long and kind of out of shape, but you could still see the definition of where he cut it. And come to find out, he doesn't work there anymore. And I was so sad, but I was like, is there anybody else that can cut the hair like he does? And I actually want to go ahead and add in some peekaboo strands while I'm at it underneath the layers. And so I get set up with a girl who was really young, and I have learned not to judge a book by its cover, because there was a guy that I was seeing for a short time that was like, he was 19 years old, and this is when I was much younger. And he was a hairstylist and had been a hairstylist for years, and he worked under his father for years and just learned how to do it. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I don't know, she'd be the most excellent hairstylist ever. So I'm sitting there and I'm showing her like what my hair looked like, and I'm showing her the layers that are still in the hair, and I'm like, I just basically want it trimmed up. And she's like, okay, I got it. And I explained to her that I also want peekaboo strands underneath the layers, so when I move my hair, it just kind of gives it some kind of like definition or something, just some pizzazz to it. And she's like, all right. I said, one thing, just please don't give my hair streaks on top of my head. I just, every time I go in, it happens. Someone puts streaks on my head. I want these below the layers of the my haircut. And she's like, okay, I got it. And she's just like, you know, really kind of dismissive and kind of short with me. And I was just kind of like, okay, I don't even know what I did wrong. I'm just trying to explain to you like what haircut I want and what I want done with my hair. So I sit in her search seat, and she has me facing away from the mirror. And it's kind of awkward because there's a guy sitting next to me, and he's getting his hair cut, and I'm sitting the other way, so we lock eyes a few times. It was very uncomfortable. And she's cutting my hair, and she's talking to the hairstylist next to me, who was cutting the man's hair. And that didn't really bother me because, honestly, small talk, I'm not that great at. And as long as she was happy and, you know, being able to cut my hair, that's fine. You know, but it got to the point where, like, if I even tried to talk at all, she would just get kind of short with me still. And I'm just like, okay, she's an artist, she knows what she's doing, whatever. And I let her, you know, proceed the haircut, and then we go and we get ready to bleach my hair. And I tell her, you're gonna have to lift it really well or bleach it twice, because my hair turns really brassy if you don't. I said, and I go, you have to get rid of the brassiness. And so she was like, I already know what to do, basically. And, you know, and we get to that point, and we're sitting there, and she's like mixing a color, talking to the other girl, and I'm waiting for her to come back and check the strands in my hair. And you know, she does about 20 minutes later, and it's lifted to like a brassy orange, and then we go and, you know, rinse the hair out. And I, at this time, am not seeing where she's putting things. I kind of just, you know, like I said, she knows what she's doing. And there was a few peekaboo strands there, but not all of them were. So, yeah, so we went ahead, and I'm sitting in the chair, and she's not drying it or anything or getting ready to bleach it again. And I look down, I'm like, it's this really brassy orange color, and I'm telling her, I'm like, you're gonna have to lift it again. She's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, fine. And the procedure from start to finish is a 3-hour procedure, and I don't even know why it took so long. And she kept, you know, walking away and walking out of the store and then coming back, and I'm just like, what the heck's going on? So I look down, and she has the colors she's mixing, and it's this bright magenta, reddish, I don't even know what color it is. It's awful. And she's getting ready to apply this to my hair, and I said, whoa, 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 whoa. I said lavender. She's like, your hair's too dark to put lavender in it. I go, that's why I said you need to lift it at least twice, or, you know, bleach it twice, so it will actually become lighter. She's like, well, I can't. Okay, what am I gonna do? She's like, I can go get blue, but it's not gonna look good. I'm like, all right. So I have these bleach strands all over my head, and she's not willing to go back and do it over again so I get the color that I want. And she's putting this bright magenta in my hair, a color I really don't want in my hair. And I'm trying to tell her, I don't, no, let's just stop, let's not do this, let's not go forward with this, you know. And she's already at this point just like slapping it in my hair, like just like, and it's getting everywhere. And yeah, so I get to turn around, like get to look at my haircut, and the haircut is like this weird botched, boxy, weird layered, I don't even know what's going on. It looks like Detective Olivia Benson from the Special Victims Unit show, and from the 90s, not currently, but from the 90s, and it just looks like really bad on me. On Mariska Hargitay, it's great because she's beautiful, but on me and my face shape and everything, it just wasn't good on me. And I'm telling her, I'm like, that's not the haircut at all. That's, you know, what's going on? And she's like, it's the same. And I'm like, it's not. And she's like, wait till it dries. And so we wait for it to dry, and I'm sitting there, and she's out in the foyer area, I guess, or like the big mall like area where people go to Commonplace. I don't know what they call it. And she's out there, and she's like talking to some boy, and I'm guessing it's her boyfriend or whatever. And I'm sitting there, and she takes off, and so I'm stuck having to pay for my haircut. And I'm stuck sitting there, and she just takes off with her boyfriend, and the lady who took the payment, she's like, do you want a tip? And I am like at this point mortified, and I'm not thinking straight, and I actually leave her a $25 tip. I am generally a very good tipper as is, but I was not happy with the haircut, and I had no idea that you could say, this isn't what I wanted, and you could actually not pay for the haircut because it was so bad. And when my husband comes by, he's like, you know, with my son, he's like, oh, you really did get your hair cut. Wow, looks so good. And I'm like, it doesn't look good. I know it doesn't look good. He takes me to, I guess, like a food place in the mall, and we're sitting there, and I'm just like, I just want to cry. That's all I want to do. And I can't remember if I was like bawling at this point or whatnot, but I remember like leaving and then just like crying because it was so bad. So I called them the next day and explained what happened, and that I already paid for the haircut, and my hair is completely butchered, and they tell me to come in the next day, and then a manager will actually cut my hair. Okay, that's great. So I waited for the next day, and by the time I go in, I have had to literally wash my face with dish soap because the red magenta had gone all over my face, and it has covered our pillows and everything else. Everything is like pretty much literally destroyed at this point. And, you know, I had been scrubbing my face all day and it's raw at this point. And I go in and I explain the same thing to the manager, that this isn't the haircut that I asked for. I show her the pictures on my phone, and I actually tell her exactly what I wanted with my hair. I wanted peekaboo strands and not these thick strands of magenta on top of my head. So she looks at the pictures and she's like, did you even show these to the girl? Like, to her, whoever her name was? And I said, yes, these are the same ones I showed. She says, because your haircut doesn't look anything like that. I'm like, I know it doesn't look anything like that. That's why it needs help. It looks awful. So, unfortunately, the only thing that she could do, literally, was cut my hair even shorter. And my hair in the back was so short, it's about 2 inches, and it was sticking up everywhere in the back. And it was awful. And then it looked like another's 90s cut, or that haircut, that let me talk to your manager haircut. It was so awful. And I couldn't believe it. I met up again with my husband at the bookstore in the mall, and I'm showing him the hair, and he's just like, that doesn't look anything like you said it was gonna look. Oh my god. So I actually ended up having to let my hair grow out for about 3 years, and I have been trimming off the bottoms of my hair as the hair dye grows out. So this is like 3 years growth for me. And I've even like shaved part of my head, the part that had like these really weird peekaboo, plus it was like really like, it was thick. And I mean, it had like so much bleach in it. It was awful. So I shaved this part of my head, and yeah, just to get rid of it. And slowly but surely through the years, I have been able to get rid of that haircut, but now I'm left with this big mop top on top of my head, and I haven't trimmed my hair in a while. So this week, I am hopefully gonna find a really good stylist. I have 3 places in mind. I have 3 places that I actually called, and I'm hoping that I can get a haircut that's decent. I'm not thinking about going short this time around, only because if you cut your hair short, then it takes forever to grow back, for one thing, and 2, if you're not sure you're gonna like the cut on you, you should probably wait and see if maybe you get a wig first or something. But that's just been my experience, and I've never had good experiences with haircuts in salons. You know, I've always had like friends cut my hair, and when I was younger I was a punk rocker, so I had like all the hair, all like the fins and the misfit and the mohawk, and I had all that. And then when I got a little older and you know, had my hair cut from former hairstylists, there was one that actually mapped out your head and the bumps on your head to figure out where your hair falls best, and that was an amazing haircut. The one 19-year-old that I was dating for a short time, he did amazing haircuts. All my amazing haircuts never came from salons, so I am really nervous, and I'm hoping that next week when you guys do see me again, I'm not telling another horror story. But yeah, that's it. Over and out. Only side note is, you know, to be cool to yourself, and also try something new, and just remember that learning a new skill takes some time.